Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we are going to be going over my buyer's guide for a Jeep Grand Cherokee. And just like all the other videos, I'm going to get into the engine options first and foremost. Then I'm going to go over the different trim packages on the car. Then we're going to get into common issues. And then finally, we will finish up with pricing and then wrap things up with my thoughts on the Grand Cherokee as a vehicle. So with all that being said, let's get right into the video. Before we get into the engines, I just want to mention that every single package with the Grand Cherokee comes with the same transmission. It's an 8-speed automatic manufactured by ZF that Chrysler uses in so many vehicles. So there's your transmission. In terms of engines, you first have the 3.6 liter V6. And in terms of power outputs on that engine, you're roughly right around 300 horsepower with that. It's actually 295. Fuel economy is going to be the best on this engine. The tow rating is going to be the lowest. So it is about 6,200 pounds, just like the Durango. And again, this is like your entry-level engine. It's a really popular engine with the Grand Cherokee because a lot of people don't buy Grand Cherokees to tow with them. They just buy them to have them as runaround vehicles. So if you just want a Grand Cherokee just to drive around, definitely go for the V6 because it gets the best fuel economy. It's the least expensive. And yeah, it's just that simple. The next one is the 5.7 V8 Hemi. And this one is actually not very common with the Grand Cherokees, but there are enough that are made with the 5.7 V8. And in terms of power outputs, it's about 360 horsepower. Towing capacity is about 7,400 pounds, which is super solid for the Grand Cherokee. And fuel economy is going to be a little bit worse on the highway than the V6, a lot worse around town. And again, this isn't as popular with the Grand Cherokees because most people get them as runaround vehicles, but if you want a Grand Cherokee with some power and you want to be able to actually tow with it, the Hemi is going to be the engine to go for, especially for towing. Now, the next engine is the 6.4 Hemi, or the SRT engine, and this one has 475 horsepower, super powerful engine, ups the towing capacity to over 8,000 pounds on this particular package. And in terms of just what this is meant for, it's really just performance. Yes, it has a little bit higher towing capacity, but the fuel economy is not that good, so it's not as practical as the 5.7 Hemi. And you get the SRT Grand Cherokee if you want a Grand Cherokee that maybe you're going to tow with occasionally, but you really just want an SUV that has a ton of power that's a lot of fun to drive. And then finally, we have the range-topping Trackhawk engine, which is the 6.2 liter V8 that's supercharged, and that has 707 horsepower and 645 foot-pounds of torque. The reason I mentioned the torque is they had to limit the torque to 645 because the chassis and everything couldn't actually take 650 foot-pounds, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, again, this is just purely for fun and performance. Fuel economy is going to be abysmal on it. My friend actually just recently bought a Trackhawk, and yeah, he's not getting very good fuel economy. However, he says it's a ton of fun. Obviously, it's super quick, and again, you get that if you just want a crazy performance engine. So yeah, that's simple. Let's get into the different trim packages for the Grand Cherokee. The first thing that I want to mention is that there are some packages that I won't be mentioning, but I'll just kind of mention at the very first part of this part of the video. And that is the altitude package. All that really is basically just blacks out everything on the Grand Cherokee. So if you ever see like a Laredo altitude or a limited altitude, all that really means is that it's that same package, but just the blacked out version. So like the sportier version. And now that we have that out of the way, let's go over the packages. So the first package you have is the Laredo. This is your base model entry-level package. Comes with the V6. Typically will come with cloth seats, the smaller touchscreen, and again, this is just your very basic package. This is the one that a lot of people will lease just because they typically have good leases on them. Not all the time, but typically will have good leases on them. But yeah, that's like your base model package. The next one is going to be the Limited, which is extremely popular with the Grand Cherokees. This is your luxury package with the Grand Cherokee. Comes with leather. You can get it with heated and cooled seats. The package that's really popular with the Limited is the Lux 2 package, which adds LED lights in the front, panoramic sunroof, all that kind of stuff. So if you get a Limited, look into that Lux 2 package because it's really cool. You can get the V6 or the 5.7 Hemi in the Limited, so you can get either one of those engines. The next one is the Trailhawk, which is their off-road package. It has like the cool little hood decal on it, and it's got the red tow hooks, a little bit more aggressive tires. Again, this is the one that's supposed to be off-road ready. Custom interior on it that's just a little bit sportier. It kind of builds off of the Limited with a lot of features that it has. In terms of engines, again, the V6 and the 5.7 Hemi are available with that. The next one that you can get is the Overland. Now, this is like your first version of the top tier for the Grand Cherokee, if that makes sense. And what I mean by the top tier is it has a little bit nicer interior, just a little bit nicer materials, a little bit more standard equipment than a Limited. And so if you're finding that you're putting a ton of options in a Limited, maybe look at an Overland, because it might be a better choice to go for, because it comes with a lot of stuff as standard equipment and just a little bit nicer interior. The next one is the Summit. Now, this is the range topping model for the luxury side of things. The Summit has really nice leather. You can get a package which is called the Signature Leather Package in the Summit, the SRT, and the Trackhawk, which adds really nice leather and wood on the doors, really nice seats, really nice headliner. But again, the Summit's like your fully loaded Grand Cherokee you can get with the V6 or the 5.7 Hemi, and it kind of has like that unique front end that's just massive. And so if you're wanting the fully loaded variant, go for the Summit. The next one is the SRT, which comes with the 6.4 Hemi only, and that's the performance variant. So it has the aggressive like hood, aggressive front fascia. It has the kind of like sportier looking seats, even though the bolsters on them and everything are pretty much the same. Obviously, it has a lot of power, 475 horsepower. It's a quick SUV for sure. But again, that's kind of like your sporty version that you get if you just want a naturally aspirated big V8 fast SUV that you can haul kids around in. And the last one is the Trackhawk. Now, the Trackhawk is the very top of the range, and in terms of power outputs, 700 horsepower. It has the Hellcat engine in it, and it has all the nice stuff on the interior that like a Summit would have. Just you get all the performance too, so it have like upgraded brakes, and you get like the massive front end on the Trackhawk. Obviously, it's very quick, and you can just get all the luxury features that you want. So if you want luxury and sporty driving, then get the Trackhawk, but be prepared to spend like $90,000 to $100,000. They're quite a bit of money. Now let's get into common issues that I have kind of seen with the Grand Cherokee, and it's pretty much all going to be the same. That's what I've seen with the Durango. A lot of issues with the exhaust, potential issues with the engines. The 6.4 Hemi seem to have quite a bit of issues, especially with the exhaust manifold. The Trackhawk initially had some issues with the superchargers going out, just like the Hellcats did, but it seems like they've fixed that for the most part. Other than that, if you want a really reliable Grand Cherokee, the 5.7 Hemi is a super solid option to go for, because it does have good power. But I saw 5.7 Hemi Grand Cherokees come in that had tons of miles on them, really old ones too, from the mid-2000s, and they would still be running really great. So that 5.7 Hemi is a really good, reliable engine. The V6, probably my second pick for reliability. The 6.4 and the 6.2 supercharged engine, not the most reliable, but they are the most fun. So if you do end up buying one of the higher end engines like the 6.4, the 6.2, just kind of make sure that you budget aside some extra expenses, especially if the car goes out of warranty, or maybe definitely put aside in the budget just to get an aftermarket warranty or some sort of warranty on the vehicle, an extended warranty through the manufacturer, just to cover some things on that vehicle, because it can get quite pricey. But let's get into pricing on the Grand Cherokee. So it can go as low as in the low $30,000 range for like a entry-level Laredo. Once you go up to the Limited package, you're going to be in the high 30s, low 40s. When you go up from the Limited to the Trailhawk, again, it's going to be low 40s to into the 50s actually. And then the Overland is going to be typically in the $50,000 range. The Summit is 50s to 60s. SRT is going to be in the $60,000 to $80,000 range, just depending on how many options you add to it. And then if you go up to the Trackhawk, you're going to be in that like high 80s to $100,000 for the Jeep. So it just depends on how many options, and it's a huge price range. I mean, you're $70,000 difference between a Laredo and a Trackhawk. So that's the coolest thing about the Grand Cherokee, is the fact that Some people, if they don't know anything about Jeeps, they could see a Trackhawk on the road and not know it's a $100,000 Grand Cherokee. So if you want like a sleeper, a Trackhawk is definitely one to go for. That is going to sum up our video for my buyer's guide on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below what vehicle you'd like me to do next. And then if you have any other questions, obviously. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you think, and then I will see all of you in that next video.